hina maba nyina medamase samudia ni monyam ama na ahafo ene ye bro na nanom a waha nyinara yama na na hu se na biara o wa ahafo no ye tanachi woni dwuma die biara wode ba si ebe somu aye ya yama na yeye ne yeso wa de aye no na wa na waye ye da na se ye da na nanom so ase okuani ye nyinadi okuani ye nyinadi okuani ye nyinadi nti adwuma we de ya akopem da onyame obefre minim se enoma wo kan wo wo manifesto mu eni mpo wo kan pa na wo ye wo ba ahemfie de wo kan ye no ugusu a wo ye na mesrew sasa ya company se wo mem eni ya bro da ho a esi ahafo go so ya srew wodi eye oil keke na engineers no de ba begugu mu na ma aso aba na ebro no eye yi a yenya baabi ade agu ya besre na nanom se dwumadi a minister wo beda na di nei afa kuafo ho ena fa sabsab wo ya bank manager kra wo ya akua eye yie ya de hye nom enkura pen nso obi a pese okokọ ye bank adwuma na chimotafo no mo ba ho na ekwa akobie wo mo ya besre se dwumadi abai yamfa ye ho nyim ni anyere ye ho ni yenyema ne yie ne ka se ba bie no ogo so ba bie no bona hafo no ye nyamfa so pa ewom na de meka ne se nyame onhyira nyame ommo ho ban ye se na nanom de ye som aban bekọ aban beba mini kwan a mede ye kwan mini sika a mede ye kwan nti aban bi obeba biara o se utwa no yesa na obeye o cheke na onso waje wo de
I wish to take this opportunity to commend the government of His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo Addo for this initiative, which, if diligently pursued, will help in the eradication of hunger, poverty, and desperation within the people of this country, particularly the young, vibrant youth. Your Excellency, as predominantly agricultural nation, Ghana can make positive impact in our economy and thereby secure hope in the millions of our people, only if we vigorously attempt to achieve food sufficiency through the use of the huge available labor force, which can be profitably engaged at all levels of the food production and processing industry. As custodians of land, traditional authorities have the capacity of facilitating access to land for investment. I am therefore making passionate appeal to all traditional authorities in the country to support the government for the success of this project, which will surely bring prosperity and create jobs for our people.
It is an honor and privilege to give an address at this landmark occasion to officially launch the Planting for Food and Jobs program initiated by the government of Ghana under the auspices of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. This indeed is a laudable initiative intended to boost agriculture in Ghana by changing the mindset of citizens and rekindling interest in farming as a way of creating jobs. We at Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, strongly believe in the future of agriculture and echo the words of Tierra Kessler, who said that an industry that fits you is an industry worth fighting for. As a bank with a core mandate to provide financial intermediation for the development and modernization of agriculture, of Ghana's agricultural sector, we are aware of a strategic role to ensure that this initiative is a resounding success. To this end, we have pledged our unflinching support by partnering the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to provide sponsorship for today's official launch. Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am also pleased to say that in addition to providing sponsorship for this launch, ADB will undertake the following actions in support of the program. Firstly, we have set up a credit line of 150 million Ghana cedis to support the government of Ghana and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to meet the payment requirements for agro inputs supplied to beneficiaries under the program. And I believe ADB deserves a round of applause. Secondly, the bank will also assist hardworking farmers participating in the program who intend to expand their operations to transit into successful commercial farmers by providing the necessary support needed. Thirdly, the bank intends to pre-finance a number of agro-input suppliers selected by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture under the program. Furthermore, we have put in place mechanisms to ensure seamless recovery of the cost of inputs supplied to farmers in all 216 districts of the country. Finally, the bank has set aside an amount of 300 million Ghana cedis as credit facility to support various viable projects in the agricultural value chain in the country for the 2017 financial year. Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I draw my address to a close, I wish to say that we at ADB endorse this great initiative and would like to use this opportunity to call on all financial institutions to do likewise by allocating funds for agricultural financing. I also would like to encourage the general public to heed the clarion call and be active participants in the execution of this worthy cause, which will serve as a catalyst for food production and sustainability, as well as job creation.
As the Planting for Food and Job program rolls out, we strongly encourage all agriculture stakeholders to give serious consideration to how we can pay special attention to the needs of women in agriculture. Despite women making up more than half of the agriculture labor force, only 2% of female-headed households currently receive extension services. We need to do better. There's a huge opportunity to increase the number of female agriculture extension agents and to reach more women through agriculture services. We're confident that the Planting for Food and Jobs program and Canada's continued engagement in the agriculture sector will have a significant impact on the well-being of farmers and economic growth in Ghana. Thank you.
The cornerstone of this vision is agriculture, and His Excellency has determined that this historical transformation will be championed by the gallant farmers of Ghana. I'm happy to announce to you that all the required preparatory works have been completed, and with the onset of the rains, implementation has started in earnest in the southern sector of the country. Focusing on the campaign itself, the overall objective of Planting for Food and Jobs is to produce enough food to feed the nation, export the surpluses, reduce the excessive food import bill, and generate employment for our fellow citizens. A primary concern of the campaign is to create jobs for the teeming unemployed youth in agriculture and allied sectors. Planting for Food and Jobs will focus on 5 key crops this year: maize, rice, soybean, sorghum, and the selected vegetables. This year, the campaign will be focused on a selected target group of up to 200,000 farmers in all 216 districts of the country.
I'm particularly delighted that the Ministry for Food and Agriculture chose the Brong-Ahafo region, a region where all the ecological zones of our country can be found, for the unveiling of this excellent initiative. I was here in November 2016, some 5 months ago, then as presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, where I met with the townsfolk, predominantly hardworking and energetic farmers. Their concerns were no different from those I had encountered on my campaign tours across the length and breadth of Ghana. They demanded in particular the revival and modernization of agriculture because they were clear in their minds that the recovery of this all-important sector was key to halting the migration of their youth to city centers in search of non-existent jobs. They were also certain that with good farming policies and incentives, Ghana would end the disgraceful spectacle of importing foodstuffs from neighboring countries. To the people of Gosu and to the millions of farmers in farming communities and villages in all parts of Ghana, I'm happy to inform you that planting for food and jobs is the basis of the answer to this twin problem with which you have been confronted in recent years. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, the dynamic Dr. Usue Akoto, the originator of this initiative, is to be commended for his imagination and leadership. Equally to be commended is the Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, for recognizing the critical importance of the project and allocating 370 million cedis in the Asempa budget for it. He has also begun to increase the budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Agriculture from 0.9% in the NDC era to 1.9%. Our target is to reach the 4.8% of the Kufuor era by 2020. God, they say, helps those who help themselves. Other friends of Ghana have backed this initiative. Canada is supporting planting for food and jobs with 125 million Canadian dollars over a 5-year period, for which we are grateful. The World Bank has pledged support of 50 million United States dollars for this year alone. USAID, through its Feed the Future initiative, has indicated, despite their initial hesitation, their preparedness to supporting planting for food and jobs. The private sector has also indicated its willingness to support the program. Long may it continue. And let me applaud the proactive role in fulfillment of its core objectives that the Agricultural Development Bank is taking in support of this program. Nananum, ladies and gentlemen, the importance of agriculture and, by extension, planting for food and jobs is clear to my government. Agriculture continues to be the anchor of the country's economy. The figures speak for themselves, and they cannot be repeated enough. More than 50% of our population are engaged in agriculture. However, in the last few years, growth in this sector has declined dramatically. Food is unnecessarily expensive in a country that is blessed with fertile land. Our production methods are not modern, and income levels of farmers and fisherfolk remain low, making the sector unattractive to the youth as a viable means of livelihood. Indeed, the poorest people in our country are engaged in food crop farming. If we are to make any meaningful change in the lives of the people, our efforts must be directed at agriculture. The majority of people can only feel a change in their lives when we develop agriculture. The World Bank estimates that agriculture and agribusiness together could command a United States dollars 1 trillion presence in Africa's continental economy by 2030, compared to 313 billion United States dollars in 2010. If it is matched with more irrigation, smart business and trade policies, and a dynamic private agribusiness sector that works side by side with government to link farmers with consumers in an increasingly urbanized Africa. We have to stress consistently Africa's determination to maintain and boost high growth rates, create more jobs, significantly reduce poverty, and grow enough cheap and nutritious food to feed its families, export its surplus crops, while safeguarding the continent's environment. We in Ghana have been making some progress, especially in the cocoa sector, but nowhere near enough in the staples like rice, maize, and soya. If we are to make headway, there has to be a fundamental change in attitude towards agriculture. Agriculture is not and cannot be a single crop industry. Farming is a business, and it is a profession that must be promoted and studied like all other professions. Ghana has the unique potential to feed its growing population, meet the raw material requirements of our processing industries, achieve food security, and compete successfully as a leading supplier to countries around us and beyond. Government's vision is to modernize agriculture, improve production efficiency, achieve food security and profitability for our farmers, all aimed at significantly increasing agricultural productivity. We intend to pursue a value addition strategy aimed at rapidly ramping up agro-processing and developing new and stable markets for our products. Our policies and interventions will encompass the full agricultural value chain and create additional businesses and job opportunities in the areas of storage, transport, processing, packaging, and marketing of agricultural produce, all of which will ensure that our farmers and fisherfolk earn higher income. As I mentioned in the State of the Nation address to Parliament, which has just been re-echoed by the Minister, planting for food and jobs is anchored on the pillars that will transform Ghanaian agriculture: the provision of improved seeds, the supply of fertilizers, the provision of dedicated extension services, a marketing strategy, and the use of e-agriculture. The Planting for Food and Jobs program is expected to increase the production of maize by 30%, rice by 49%, soybean by 25%, and sorghum by 28% from current production levels. This program will create 750,000 jobs in both direct and indirect employment. I wish to assure you that all the necessary measures have been put in place to guarantee the success of the program. To ensure that fertilizer is readily available to the farmer at affordable prices, government has reduced the prices of fertilizer by 50%. A 50 kilogram bag of NPK fertilizer, the fertilizer most used by farmers, up to now has been costing 115 cedis. Under this government, farmers will only pay 57.50 pesos for it. Likewise, a 50 kilogram bag of urea now sells at 47.50 cedis, as opposed to 80 cedis last year. Currently, there are less than 2,600 extension officers across the country, with some 80% of the total number going on pension in the next 2 to 3 years. Between 2011 and 2015, unfortunately, none of the 3,200 graduates produced by the 5 colleges of agriculture were employed to assist farmers improve on their productivity and output. It therefore should not surprise us that the agricultural sector was on a systematic decline in recent years, recording a mere growth of 3.6%, less than half of the 7.4% achieved in 2008. To help rectify this anomaly, government has employed 1,200 graduates from the 5 colleges of agriculture who completed between 2011 and 2015 as extension officers. In 2018, we will employ 2,000 more extension officers with a solemn pledge of employing more graduates from our colleges of agriculture in the subsequent years. It is also clear that information and communication technology has brought to the fore new ways of doing things. Given the rapid penetration of ICT in our society today, particularly the use of mobile telephony, there is the realization that the use of ICT in agricultural development would have a measurable impact on the lives of our farmers. The use of the e-agriculture platform will undoubtedly ensure the effective distribution of improved seeds and fertilizers, as well as a significant improvement in extension service delivery to farmers. To reinforce the pledge made by the Minister, government intends to construct a 1,000 metric ton capacity warehouse in each of the 216 districts. The purpose of these warehouses would be to handle produce, as well as to store the anticipated surpluses under the Planting for Foods and Jobs campaign. In the Asian experience, the existence of a relatively extensive road network that carries fertilizer and other inputs to the farms and carries farm output to the markets has set them apart from us in Ghana. Ghana government will also expand the feeder road and farm track networks to mitigate post-harvest losses and also ensure foodstuffs are available to customers. Ladies and gentlemen, Nananom, agriculture remains the fuel that powers all our activity in Ghana. We ignore it at our risk. My government will certainly not ignore it. I give you my pledge that farmers, food crop farmers, fish farmers, and livestock farmers will all have the support and the respect they deserve from my government. We need to raise agriculture to a higher plane to be able to improve on the quality of life of our people. Planting for food and jobs is just the beginning. Thank you. God bless us in our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. Medamase papa. And I go so and then anano. Yamishamu. Medamase papa.